Hey there, America. Remember the good old days when you could buy a gallon of gas without needing a small loan? Yeah, me neither. It feels like just yesterday when filling up your tank didn't require a second thought. Now, every trip to the gas station is a painful reminder of how much things have changed. The numbers on those price boards seem to climb higher every day, and it's not just gas. Everything from groceries to utilities is costing more, and it's hitting us hard. It seems like our economy is stuck on a roller coaster ride from hell, with inflation and unemployment taking turns playing the villain. One moment it feels like we're on the brink of recovery, and the next we're plunging into another crisis. The stock market is a wild ride with sharp declines and brief, hopeful increases that never seem to last. It's enough to make anyone's head spin. The numbers are about as pretty as a dumpster fire. Inflation is soaring, unemployment is creeping up, and the cost of living is becoming unbearable. Every month it seems like there's a new record high for prices and wages just aren't keeping up. People are stressed, struggling to make ends meet, and it's taking a toll on our mental health and well-being. And the average American is feeling the squeeze. It's not just about numbers on a chart, it's about real people facing real hardships. Families are having tough conversations around the kitchen table, trying to figure out how to stretch their dollars further. The stress of not knowing if you'll be able to pay the bills or put food on the table is overwhelming. We're talking about empty wallets, missed mortgage payments, and the looming threat of losing your home. The dream of homeownership is slipping away for many, replaced by the harsh reality of foreclosure and eviction. It's a heartbreaking situation that too many are finding themselves in, and the ever-growing fear that the American dream is turning into a nightmare. The promise of a better life, of prosperity and stability, feels like it's fading. People are anxious, uncertain about the future, and wondering if the sacrifices they've made will ever pay off. But hey, don't despair just yet. In times of crisis, we often find our greatest strengths. There's a resilience in the American spirit, a determination to overcome even the toughest challenges. We've faced hard times before, and we've come through stronger on the other side. We're gonna break down this economic mess, understand the factors that led us here, and explore the potential solutions. It's a complex issue, but with the right information and a collective effort, we can navigate through it. Figure out how we got here, by looking at the historical context and the decisions that have shaped our current situation. Economic downturns aren't new, and by studying past events, we can learn valuable lessons, and maybe, just maybe, find a way out. It will take innovative thinking, collaboration, and a willingness to make tough choices. Communities coming together, sharing ideas, and supporting one another can make a significant difference. Buckle up, folks. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. But remember, every roller coaster has its ups and downs, and eventually the ride comes to an end. With perseverance and hope, we can weather this storm and look forward to brighter days ahead. So what the heck is inflation anyway? It's a term we hear all the time, but do we really understand what it means? Let's break it down. In a nutshell, it's when prices for goods and services go up faster than a Kardashian at a cash register. Imagine walking into your favorite store and realizing that everything costs more than it did last week. It's not just your imagination. That's inflation at work. Think of it like this. Remember when you could buy a decent cup of coffee for $1.50? Those were the good old days, right? You'd stroll into your local coffee shop, hand over a couple of coins, and walk out with a steaming cup of joe. Now that same cup of joe will set you back $5 and a small piece of your soul. It's not just coffee though. Everything from groceries to gas seems to be getting more expensive by the day. It's like we're living in a world where our dollars are shrinking. There are a bunch of reasons why inflation is running rampant. Supply chain issues, global conflicts, and even natural disasters can disrupt the flow of goods and services, making everything more expensive. Factories shut down, shipments get delayed, and suddenly, there's a shortage of products. And let's not forget good old-fashioned corporate greed. Some companies see an opportunity to raise prices and increase their profits, even when it's not entirely necessary. They know that people will pay more because they have no other choice. Whatever the cause, the result is the same. Your hard-earned money just doesn't buy what it used to. It's frustrating, isn't it? You work hard, you save, and yet it feels like you're constantly falling behind. But understanding inflation is the first step in figuring out how to deal with it. So, what can you do about it? One option is to invest your money wisely. Stocks, bonds, and real estate can sometimes outpace inflation, helping you maintain your purchasing power. It's also a good idea to keep an eye on your budget and cut unnecessary expenses. Another strategy is to look for ways to increase your income. This could mean asking for a raise, finding a higher paying job, or even starting a side hustle. The more money you bring in, the better you'll be able to cope with rising prices. And don't underestimate the power of community. Sharing resources, bartering, and supporting local businesses can help everyone get through tough times. Sometimes the best solutions are the simplest ones. Inflation might be a fact of life, but it doesn't have to control your life. By staying informed and making smart choices, you can navigate these choppy financial waters and come out stronger on the other side. So, the next time you see those rising prices, take a deep breath and remember, you've got this. Remember when you could fill up your gas tank without having to remortgage your house? Pepperidge Farm remembers. These days, everything from groceries to gas to housing is more expensive than a night out with a Kardashian. Let's talk about groceries. Remember when eggs were considered a cheap source of protein? Well, now they're practically worth their weight in gold. And don't even get me started on the price of milk. It's enough to make you want to buy a cow and start your own dairy farm. Inflation is bad enough, but when you throw unemployment into the mix, you've got a recipe for economic disaster. The job market is looking shakier than a Jenga tower built by a toddler. Layoffs are happening left and right, and finding a new job is about as easy as finding a unicorn riding a bicycle. This isn't just bad news for the folks who are out of work, it's bad news for all of us. When people are unemployed, they have less money to spend, which slows down the economy even more. It's a vicious cycle that's tough to break. The economic pain isn't just limited to one group of people. It's affecting everyone from the mom-and-pop shops on Main Street to the bigwigs on Wall Street. Small businesses are struggling to keep their doors open, while large corporations are announcing layoffs and cutting back on investments. The stock market, that barometer of our economic health, is about as stable as a drunkard on roller skates. Investors are jittery, and the fear of a recession is looming large. It's enough to make you want to bury your money in the backyard and hope for the best. So, what's the government doing about this whole economic mess? Well, they're trying. The Federal Reserve is raising interest rates to combat inflation, but that's about as effective as trying to put out a fire with a squirt gun. The government is also throwing money at the problem, with mixed results. Some of it is going to help struggling families and businesses, which is great. But some of it is going to projects that are about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. The big question on everyone's mind is, when will things get better? The honest answer is, nobody knows for sure. The economy is a complex beast, and predicting its movements is about as easy as predicting the weather in a hurricane. Some experts say we're headed for a recession, while others believe we'll pull through. The truth is, it all depends on a lot of factors, many of which are beyond our control. So, is there any hope for our economy? Of course there is. We're Americans, darn it, and we don't give up easily. There are a lot of smart people out there with ideas on how to get us back on track. Some folks think we need to invest in renewable energy and create green jobs. Others believe we need to reform our tax code and make sure the wealthy pay their fair share. Still, others think we need to invest in education and job training to prepare our workforce for the jobs of the future. The current state of the US economy might seem bleak, but it's not the end of the world. Yes, the headlines are filled with stories of financial struggles, businesses closing, and people losing their jobs. It can feel overwhelming and disheartening, but history has shown us that we are resilient. We've been through tough times before, and we've always come out stronger on the other side. Think back to the Great Depression, World War II, or even the 2008 financial crisis. Each of these periods tested our resolve, but they also brought out the best in us. Communities banded together, innovations were born, and new opportunities emerged from the ashes of adversity. The key is to stay informed, stay engaged, and keep fighting for a better future. Knowledge is power, and by understanding the challenges we face, we can better navigate them. Economists, activists, and everyday citizens all play a role in shaping the future. By staying informed, we can make better decisions and advocate for the changes we want to see. So, let's hold our elected officials accountable, demand better policies, and work together to build an economy that works for everyone, not just the wealthy few. It's easy to feel powerless, but our voices matter. By voting, participating in rallies, and signing petitions, we can push for policies that promote fairness and equality. Remember, America, we're all in this together. Our strength lies in our unity and our shared commitment to a brighter future. Whether it's through community service, supporting local businesses, or simply being there for one another, every action counts. Together, we can overcome any obstacle. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket. Sometimes, a little hope and a dream can go a long way. It's a small gesture, but it reminds us that even in tough times, there's always a chance for something good to happen. Hey, a guy can dream, can't he? Dreams keep us going, give us something to look forward to, and inspire us to keep pushing forward. So let's keep dreaming, keep hoping, and keep working towards a better tomorrow.